All right, traders. Hey, good morning. Welcome on back here to a brand new week, brand new month, actually. December 1st, 12/1. Great to have Ron here who just clocked in a nice trade just before on one of our pre-market runners. Great to see Grant, Michael, Leda, Phil, Chuck, all of us just joining us here this Monday morning. As I had said, December 1st, not just a brand new week, brand new month on the pay period here. So great to have all of us, though, here. Otherwise, joining us on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Popping up lower left right there, just in front of myself there, just at cybertradingu. If you're new to our stream, platform, social media, any of that good stuff, especially on YouTube and X/Twitter, make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button down there. We're at cybertradingu on those channels. Also, just Cyber Trading University, just formerly on Instagram, etc. But with that, though, we got a busy week. Starting off today, we're finally back on schedule with our Mondays, right? So for Alan, Uday, Nabil, Marco, one of our gold students here joining us, keep in mind we have our live weekly workshop, Traders Talk, conducted today. We had it just on Friday, of course, right? Well, we had to catch up with our schedule. It was supposed to be on Monday, and we did it just on Friday, right? So we're right back again, just with our normal Monday time slot. And that's actually on social media as well, for all of us on social media as well, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. That will be at noon Eastern. So again, every Monday, including today, we do a live workshop, just going over your questions, going over different trades that had made a pretty strong move up or down. I think one of us had a question about like a pre-market trade or something to do with like the candles or wicks and like one of these trades here, KTTA. Kind of a dud early on here at least, but ended up just popping before, pulled back now. Just a lot of these things, you just got to make sure the stock has good spread and make sure it has a good trend of higher lows, higher highs. If it's just a flash in the pan pop and then it just pulls right back down afterwards, we don't really want to have much to do with that type of trade, right? Unfortunately, a lot of trades in pre-market will do that. So you got to be a little patient and wait for the right opportunity. So even just to begin, this stock here, KTTB or QTTB, I'm assuming a quantum stock, but this actually had a pretty good move just before in pre-market. I don't know if any of our students caught this just off the 450 level. It took a while to build back up there, but we knew that this was resistance going into the 8 o'clock move. Yeah, it kind of pulled back and you could have maybe have gotten in off of $4, but just point being, you knew where resistance was, nonetheless. And the more it keeps poking, not only should it break over it, it should flip it into support after. And then it moved on up towards the next 50-cent whole number level at 5. And you figure 5's even stronger, just more psychologically, strong in terms of seeing big money. I don't think I even have my book map open for this one, but just you could see where it popped and dropped it. Nice trade, at least to begin for a Monday, right? I mean, that's all you need. But now at this point, it's on the dump part of this trade. It's a pop and drop type of trade. So it kind of almost looks like a head and shoulders here, so long as it holds back below this 450 level. I'll put this on our list going into the open, but if it keeps dropping, I'll probably scrap it. Now, the one that Ron did just really well on just before, this one doesn't have as much volume out there on the order book. All right, so yeah, maybe it could pop a little bit. But imagine trying to be there early to the punch here on this trade. I guess it popped here at 8:30 in the morning. This one, AHMA. Well, imagine jumping in at like $11 here. Seeing it pop all the way up here, and you're going to say, "Oh, it's going to pull back," and maybe I'll get in at 11 or 10. And just on this one candle alone, it slices it all the way back down. So this type of trade, yeah, it's nice or it's easy to see that it moved up pretty steadily. So you had that in your favor, higher lows. But otherwise, this one was not as easy to trade with strategy. So you got to hope for this to make a nice pop more than anything. Whatever news is out on the stock, I tried to check Benzinga Pro. I didn't see any news snippets since like November 20th. So this might just be running off of no news, no actual catalyst here. Some new IPO, I guess, from late October, broke all-time highs. So that does make it pretty easy for this stock to try and make a move. Once it's at all-time highs, then there's no historical data for this to try and work off of. Actually, that's a trade I think earlier last week that we had. This thing, LNAI, I wanted this to make that type of pop and run. This is some cheap IPO, and we were hopeful for this to make a nice run back then for that reason. Well, this was the end result. After a stock breaks all-time highs, there's no real historical data for it to work off of. So I think that was pretty much off of $7. $7, maybe $8 up top here. This wick goes up towards, but either way, hey, going into the open, I'll add this to our list, right? Just steady trend and Hopefully there is more orders out there by the time the market does open up. I feel like there won't be, though. That's going to be my guess. I'm just going to take a stab in the dark there. Now, though, with that in mind, we did have a couple of decent little trades from Friday, even though Friday was like a half day, right? So normally you wouldn't have expected for there to be as much out there. But we did pretty good across the board. A couple of different stocks at least out there. So actually going back to that KTTA, kind of a dud today, pop and drop loser trade here today. But that's because it made most of its move from last week. So not even from Friday, but even from Wednesday before Thanksgiving, this had a big move up here on the 26th. It went from basically 50 cents up 300% this day. And then it popped up another 100% the following. So, just from last week altogether, including Friday, this was a great move. Probably one of our best trades all of last week, I should say. Now at that, though, again, a lot of these stocks, just when they have their foot taken off the gas pedal, they're going to look to just kind of finish up, and they're not going to hold higher lows. They're not going to hold support as well long term. Intraday, yes, which you could see here, at least until it stopped. But otherwise, though, long term, you can't trust these stocks as far as you could throw them. So, just nice trade at least from Wednesday and Friday last week, the KTTA. ADTX, a little pop and drop move early on in pre-market. If you were like up at the crack of dawn, maybe you can grab that. But otherwise, not much more there. MBOT was one more from, I should say, just Wednesday of last week. Had a pretty good move. Slow, cheap stock. Ended up having a good little move up just Wednesday into Friday. And then from there, just kind of hung out a bit. But now look what it's doing, right? Yeah, hung out here Friday, but look what it's doing now. So where I just said before, you can't really trust these stocks as far as you could throw them. Well, that stands true. ABVE, good move up for Friday. It took a little while for this to build support around 270, 275, 280, but, pushed up pretty nicely. Nice little move on a day where you don't really expect much, right? This is good. Now, it didn't look to try and flip resistance into support here and build up higher. So, that's just where it ended up falling apart. Now, going into the open today, this trade, I don't know, not kind of spotty, needs to prove itself to us here. Not really too interested in it just yet. The other one I wanted to get to more on the swing side of things, Fausto will definitely tell you even more about this than me. He's in it from like $30.50. I'm in from just a little over 32. A bunch of our students are in on this one right now. I think Joyce is. I think a few of us are from last week. I took roll call. I remember Joyce at least. But a couple others, nonetheless, we're in this Chipotle trade with Fausto at first and, myself just earlier last week. Just now at this point, it broke above resistance here. This is where I got in at 32. From there is pretty simple, right? But now at this stage, it's a gap fill. So going into the open today, just as a quick reminder, it's not just the day trading watch list. It's also the swing trading watch list. So this isn't like showing good activity right now. Even with this, like, so to say, candle, it's a pseudo candle. It's probably on just like 500. You know what? This is probably a late print from Friday, just from the half day. I see a big spike of volume here. So either way, it's just to say that Chipotle going on our watch list again, it's just more of a swing trade. So if you're not in already, then see if there's a good day trading opportunity for you this morning, because it at least still is in gap fill territory. So, it creates a good opportunity, not just for Fausto, myself, and our traders here as a swing trade, as we've been calling it out, but on a more volatile day. If this wants to get going, this would be a good day to see it on, just where there's this big empty gap. All right, so that was even from Friday. So we have others from last week, but we'll kind of just go through the gainers and losers list right now. I yapped too much. It's already 9:10 in the morning. Want to make sure that we have enough time to get ready for the open here. AHMA. My dyslexia right now just makes this say Maha, Make America Healthy Again. My dyslexia right now has just gone right to that. I don't know if it's the lack of caffeine this morning, but AHMA, I just got the M in front of it. I don't know. But we got that on our watch list there. QTTB, I'll put it on our list for the time being. It makes the cut for right now. Just it's kind of pulling back a little bit here, so I'm not particular about it. But, if it wants to try and go back up, it's still number 2 biggest percent gainer. NCT, Cayman Island stock, I assume, just popped right now. And I say that because it's in the watermark. It's actually in the name, so Cayman. So what does this company actually do? NCT. I'm just going to take a quick look here. is principally engaged in ship leasing and vessel management services. All right, well, either way, had a nice little move up just before. So I appreciate the recent pop. Hopefully it holds here. If it just dumps right back down, we'll strip it. But we got it for right now. We'll add the NCT. Had another good move up just before on FTEL. So I want to go over to FTEL. Oh, Wendy, Cala was the one that you were asking on, not KTTB, another example of my dyslexia a bit there, but, Cala, at least K. These wicks I just don't even think about. I'll go more into that in Traders Talk. Just kind of disregard it. It's just noise. Just honestly disrespect those wicks. Don't even give it the respect that you might think it deserves. It looks big and weird, but it's just from earlier. It's volume from earlier in the morning. But, just right now it's been flat. It's active at least, it's at least up this morning from Friday's closing price. If it pops by the end of this meeting, maybe I'll come back to it. FTEL had a good move up just before our meeting started here, but again, kind of dumping back down now. So not particular about that move. NFE dead. That thing is flat. I knew going into this meeting, my TradeStation charts, there's something going on here with this W buy. I don't know what the heck this is all about. So that's where I got Benzinga, or that's where I got Bookmap, I should say, pardon me. But just right now, this is the actual trend on this stock, W buy. Last hour and a half or so, just steady down. You can see the white squiggly lines right there. That's the price action. That's the stock. So yeah, trend here certainly is not up on W buy. Don't mind my TradeStation charts. There's some glitch going on there, but we're not going to add it just for the downtrend. DYAI, I'll pass there too. A lot of these trades, you know what? Let me just take a quick look. I might need to lower my volume or jack up my volume filter for that reason. There we go. Look how much that just weeded out. Just weeded out all that crap. So, just again, I can kind of lower it, but just in the sake of a Monday and for the beginning of the pay period, even though it's December typically is like a more volatile, good month for us to trade in. Just you want to have higher volume standards. So FTEL, I guess, bouncing back up a little bit, but not much else that we really saw. Everything here just on the gainer side, relatively speaking, flat. I mean, maybe I'll just lower the percentage, see if there's any like larger cap stocks just making a good move this morning. Hop over to the loser side here. Reminder, folks, keep in mind, just today at least, we're back on our normal schedule, our weekly workshop, Traders Talk. I'll be doing it noon Eastern here. That's simulcast for all of us just on YouTube, as well as just Rich, Michael, I see Steve here. You got some other names I'm just trying to shout out right now this morning. Jazz, good morning to you. Alan, Uday, you got Farzad, you got Chris, you got Douglas, all of us just joining us inside our live trading room. All right, so crypto took a bit of a hit overnight. Not surprised by that whatsoever. I guess we're bouncing back up a little bit here, but that's where BMNR, BMNU, all of those took a bit of a hit overnight. I don't really have like a great need to put them on our list. They're dropping off. I'll put them on my side list because I like shorting them on like weaker, trends. So BMNR, not really the greatest long-term trend, has not been for a while. It kind of needs to get back up and above one of these support lines, I would say. It's dancing back over that lower one right now, just over 30 bucks or so, but still has a ways to go to regain any strength. So I'm not really too sold on any of these trades up or down, and that's fine. All right. Grant, Bob, Peter, Rich, you got Kate, you got Thomas here, any of us here, just otherwise, let me know just what looks good from your side of things before we finish up. I'll tell you what, not bad for a Monday. We got some decent trades, including Chipotle, which is a swing trade more than anything. It could still be a good day trade for the open, but we're still killing it on the swing trade there. I'm up over 7%. Fausto's got to be up probably 15, 14. Check out Benzinga Pro here before we call it a wrap. Yeah, MSTR has been dropping. That's Bitcoin related. We knew that. I guess FTEL still trying to push up. I thought we had talked about that already. Did we fully commit to FTEL? Nah, we didn't. All right, FTEL will add. We got this one back on our list. And then what else? Cala. It's inching back up, right? Listen, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I guess we'll take this here for the time being. Just it's like chewing on aluminum foil, waiting for this to make a better pop, but it's going on up. We'll take it for the time being. FTEL and Calib will add. All right, I think that just about does it, folks. Oh, let me just check out any larger caps out there. Anything that's like looking good just on the way up, maybe like a Tesla, Nvidia, et cetera, et cetera. Just check out the rest of the market here heading into the open. SPY altogether, maybe bouncing a little bit since 7:30, 8 o'clock, but had gapped down overnight from Friday. So with that, I'm not expecting too much there on the upside. Amazon a little bit. Apple, not really. Amazon might be your stronger one of the bunch in terms of like just the Mag 7, the larger caps out there. I always like kind of toss a Boeing in there every now and then. I don't know what this company is. SNPS. It's up 7%. It's like $450 a share. Synopsis. I don't know if this is buyout related or not. So we're going to pass on that though. Baba's up a little bit. None of these I'm really committing to. Just I want to go through some larger caps before we wrapped it up. But I like what we got, though, folks, going into the open. So for all of our students, keep in mind, we're going to head back to our live trading room in just a bit. We have the market open ahead. Fausto will be back on just right at 9:30 or shortly afterwards. He just had to run out pretty briefly, had to tag me in for the morning meeting, but he'll be here. And then with that, though, just we're kind of back on our normal routine, as I'd said. So coming back at noon Eastern later today, especially if you're on social media, join us at noon Eastern right here. Make sure to follow and subscribe right to our YouTube channel, especially just on YouTube at cybertradingu. That's on YouTube and on /X/Twitter. But otherwise, though, what do we got here? Rodney, how about this? On YouTube. Rodney, hope to see you back here at noon Eastern. Rodney says, you folks over there are like an anchor for the ship in a hurricane or typhoon. Oh, I like that reference. I don't have enough caffeine in me yet, but I think I appreciate that reference. Calling us an anchor for a ship in a hurricane or typhoon. Hopefully one that's strong enough to keep the ship intact, Rodney. So I appreciate that comment, my friend. Hope you're having a great start to your week. But otherwise, look to join us coming back at noon Eastern, Rodney, and for all of us on social. So that'll be our Traders Talk workshop. So just coming back at noon Eastern, just at CyberTradingU for that. Otherwise, just for all of us inside our live trading room. Again, we'll be back here for the market open. Talk to you all soon.